Hello, I'm Nick Jevons, here with ROE Visual at NAB 2026. We're at booth C4925, and behind me I have a bunch of our new product.
Is it true that ROE is #1 in the world?
Of course, but everyone's going to tell you that. I like to use the sort of analogy or saying that we're your favorite drummer's favorite drummer, right? You go to any LED panel manufacturer, we're their favorite LED panel manufacturer.
Favorite in terms of quality, the
in terms
features,
of quality, in terms of
the
support,
quantity also.
Quantity. We're one of the largest LED panel manufacturers in the world, right? We're a part of Unilumin Group with a higher quality focus, is what I would say, right? So we have ROE Solo, which is our all-in-one solution.
It's got two legs
that we want to. Yep. So you can actually take this apart and use it as two different walls, right? It's a motor, it's cased, you can ship it around, you can put it into an elevator without issue. These are,
what do you mean motor?
The things that we've taken to heart from our rental background and put into ease of use and transport.
Did you say motor?
Yep.
So like that helps it to roll around?
Not helping it to roll around, helping it to pack up into a case so that you can fit it into an elevator and still have a large footprint.
So there's like it helps to flip it down?
Yep. Actually, back here on the back, the motors are built in here, and this would rotate and be much more compact once it's cased up. The cases are, of course, with Freeman, but that's how it would go.
What do we have
behind me here is Topaz 1.5. This wall is sort of our broadcast-focused live rental panel. So this is going to be the panel that you would want to buy if you want a 1.5 millimeter panel that you're going to build temporary or semi-permanent structures with.
Nice. So it's hard to see, but there's like the whole system.
I mean,
we see the edge of it here.
It has the magnesium alloy framing. It has edge protection built into it. You know, the locks are integrated as well, so that it goes together easily. It comes apart easily. Just, you know, holistically developed alongside the Ruby platform to be easy for techs to install, service, and support.
And here there's a nice, is this running the screen?
So, yes, this is Brompton's SQ200. This is the processing platform that's actually driving the Topaz 1.5 and the Topaz 2.6 up above. It's their new 8K unit.
So what's special about this unit, and how does it work good with ROE?
The big draw of the new Brompton processor is that it is 8K capable, right? And properly rackable as well. You do still use sort of a step-down switch setup from processor to video wall, but it's a much larger canvas size than we had been limited to in the past with another phenomenal processor from them, the SX40.
And it does video over IP? And then converts to the LED
you can do
running?
2110, you can do HDMI inputs, you can do DisplayPort inputs, and then of course from video processor to wall, we're either fiber or we're moving via EtherCON.
So this is optimized for cameras to film the screen?
Yes. Yep. Generally speaking, you would want to be gen-locked to the screen.
It has to be gen-locked. So like there's a signal.
I would say it does not have to be. In an ideal world, you are gen-locking your camera to the screen, though, so that you can sync the refresh cycles of your video wall with the refresh cycle.
Because my camera is not synced right now. I'm doing 4K 60, but if it was synced, it would be perfect, right?
Correct. And it's complex. It would require, a fast readout speed sensor. It would require many things, but it would certainly be a massive improvement. Nice. And if we're talking about on-camera performance, behind me inside.
Sorry, 1 second.
Secret
it's
booth.
just the signal of the little. No, that's what do you say?
Sure.
Yeah. So
behind me inside of the sort of closed-off section is the Ruby 1.9 BB2 that we're running on DeepSky processing. So for us, the big draw here, and it's not necessarily up on the wall, but this is what I would call the cutting edge. This is, in terms of IC driver performance and technology, this is where the industry is going to be designing towards and building towards. It's a driver that has both PAM as well as PWM capabilities, and the big differentiator there is all past IC drivers were PWM only. This allows us to have more fidelity in low brightness environments. Literally 0 to 10 nit sweeps in grayscale that have no magenta shift and very little banding. Whereas, any of the other classic LED panels, including ROE panels, would experience that.
So you said those two technologies that it combines. Can you describe a little bit what it's about?
So PAM is the ability to adjust current within an IC driver. PWM is the ability to adjust time you are delivering that current to the LED wall. And really, this has impacts on things like refresh rate, but it's more about being able to finally control the brightness of the LED wall and the color performance of the LED wall.
So that means even higher quality productions?
Yeah, I would say higher quality productions, more capabilities in terms of if I have a nighttime shot in a virtual production studio right now, I still have to have a fairly bright environment or else I'm clipping color and I have very garish banding in those 1 nit, 5 nit sections of nighttime shots, which definitely exist.
Because LED should be great for dark scenes,
sure.
Because it's real
it
true
can turn
black.
off. It
right?
can turn off. The problem is when we calibrate LED walls, right? We'll set up a calibration profile and it'll have a 0 to 1500 nit calibration file. The problem is when you're down at that level, you're losing all of the calibration data from, like, let's say my maximum brightness in a scene is 100 nits. Well, everything from 101 to 1500 is wasted unless you use things like, Brompton has dark magic. There's dithering techniques that we can use to improve the performance in low brightness. But these are all mathematical tricks, right? Not that DeepSky doesn't use math and dithering algorithms to help, but it is a mechanical difference in how it is delivering power via the IC driver compared to past IC
And how about
drivers.
Megapixel, what they do, or who's making this solution here?
Sure, so this is actually DeepSky. DeepSky is not just the IC driver, DeepSky is also the processing platform. Megapixel is another processing platform, a sort of competitor in a way, but I look at it as two separate components where one is, entirely focused on the processing architecture, one is focused on both the processor and IC driver.
And what is this?
So this is a confidence monitor.
And what's going on behind here?
So we're using a Panasonic camera, actually one of their new UDXs. This is all the control setups for if, there are going to be DPs here who do want to see the capabilities at different shutter angles or different shutter speeds, if that's
and
the
on the floor, can I film that?
Use. Yeah, go for it.
So
that's just one of our Pelicans.
So this is running the display right now? Oh no, it's just a box.
No. I was about to say that's just the box. I mean, the display is running from things in the back that I can't necessarily take us to.
And then
this is just the camera again with another confidence monitor. We have the ability to sync the LED wall regardless of shutter angle, shutter speed, frame rate, and these things are also very important because if you're doing a commercial shoot or you're doing a cinematic shoot or you're doing a sports shoot, you want the ability to go and have different frame rates, different shutter angles. Do I want to tighten up the shutter angle? Well, then I also need to make sure my LED wall is refreshing properly or I'll get scanline artifacting. So that's the ability to do things like that and control from both the processing platform and the camera platform and have them talk to each other via API is important.
So this is going to change a lot of the industry?
I would say yes.
And do you think Brompton and Megapixel is going to support this technology also?
I hope they do. Not to pressure them too much. I'm a large client of theirs. But again, I hope they do. Because to me, the ability to incorporate PAM control as well as PWM control is very important for where I view the future of production. But again, so we'll move to installation. Of course, the top wall, I guess I'll give it a shout out right now, is Topaz 2.6, both curve and flat. It's two different panels built into the same exact LED wall. And it's uniform, right?
It goes all around the booth?
Yep, it goes all the way around.
And
so that's Ro's curving panel alongside its flat panel in a Topaz frame.
And what other displays you want to show here?
Sure. So right here on my right is going to be Coral 1.2. That's Ro's first push in the installation.
And what do you say, first push? Yeah?
Yep.
So just turn this for the signal.
I see. Sure.
Right there. Yeah, what do you say?
So this is Coral 1.2. So it's our COB platform, right? So we have Coral. We have the product actually over here, which is Denali. Denali is our MIP platform. Not
0.7
shown here. Yep.
That's the smallest dot pitch you have?
That's the smallest, tightest pitch that we have for now. Those are two platforms that are using different LED panel technology, but the same exact internal frame, right? So it's actually something that a lesson we took from the automotive guys, right? Where they might have a single underpinning platform, but then they're able to use different bodies on top of it. We have a single platform for Coral S, for Rila, for Sierra, and for Denali, but then depending on budget and depending on use case, like if it's in a lobby or if it's in a broadcast studio, you can choose a different LED panel technology, but you buy the same exact frame. So your guys who do that installation, once they've installed a wall, they know how to install any of the ROE LED walls.
So how big is your market for broadcast customers compared to all the other stuff that ROE does?
Well, for ROE, broadcast represents around 10 to 15% of our yearly market. That's actually expected to grow as we move into the broadcast studios that use permanent installation product. Most of the work that we had done in the past was with broadcast studios that were using either semi-permanent builds or had a very large footprint. But there's a lot of studios like those in New York City that require a wall-mounted setup. So that's been a lot of the product development for ROE, is product platforms like Denali or Sierra, where we would use those in a broadcast environment.
And it's just going to be exciting what it's going to enable in the future. And I guess also AI or something could help enhance the production efficiency.
I would say the biggest use case that, from our perspective, that we see, we'll call it Gen AI, being able to push the boundaries of, is the ability to have a custom canvas, right? So this is a 4K screen, but in a lot of broadcast studios or a lot of broadcast environments, it's not just 4K. And if I'm mastering content for that, it's very expensive. But if I have the ability to use Gen AI to take a nice baseline 720 image that I can get for much cheaper, and then use that to upscale or warp or fill out gaps that might be missing, that is what the strongest use case right now that I see for Gen AI and broadcast.
I think you could take a reference kind of scenes and say, just generate the world in that and have the actors perform on that.
Sure.
Or like the live production studio and everything.
Yeah, but the struggle right now is definitely being able to do that consistently, right? To not have changes across different shoots that might be slightly out of the designers or the directors or the technical team's control.
All right, so I guess here at the NAB, it's exciting to talk about next gen.
Yeah.
And to see where this is going.
Yeah, no, especially, again, for me in broadcast, the thing that I'm looking forward to most is the adoption of PAM, PWM, IC drivers to really allow us to get into low brightness shots that we've had to avoid in the past.
Imagine every pixel, every sound, enabled through HDMI technology. From the highest resolutions, the fastest refresh rates, to immersive multi-channel audio, HDMI technology powers a worldwide ecosystem of devices for movies, for gaming, for creators. Experience clarity, performance, connection. HDMI technology. Connect the future today.